Now let me ask you a question. What is the date every year that we celebrate Halloween? Well, you know that it's October 31st. But do you know why we celebrate Halloween on October 31st? What's significant about this particular date? Well, Dr. John Weldon explains.
I think it's very interesting that the very day that we celebrate as Halloween, October 31st, was the last day of the year in the Celtic religion. Their new year began on November 1st, and on the day before their new year, it was believed that the god of death, or the god of the dead, actually released the different souls of the good and evil. The evil souls were ultimately decreed to go into the form of animals, whereas the good souls were allowed to come back as humans. In other words, there was a belief in reincarnation. But essentially, the people believed that souls of good and evil spirits roamed about on this day, on Hallows Eve, just before their new year began.
Now, after hearing that, you may be saying, you guys must be making this up. I mean, isn't Halloween nothing more than an innocent holiday with some fun-filled practices? Who else agrees with you that Halloween stemmed from such terrible pagan practices? Well, if you've got an Encyclopedia Britannica in your home, turn to the article on Halloween in it, and you'll read this information, quote, "In ancient Britain and Ireland, the Celtic festival of Samhain was observed on October 31st, at the end of the summer." Now, you remember that Samhain was the name of the chief Druidic god, the name they gave to him showing that he was the Lord of the Dead, or the Lord of Death. The Encyclopedia Britannica continues, "The souls of the dead were supposed to revisit their homes on this day, and the autumnal festival acquired sinister significance, with ghosts, witches, goblins, black cats, fairies, and demons of all kinds said to be roaming about. It was the time to placate the supernatural powers controlling the processes of nature. In addition, Halloween was thought to be the most favorable time for divinations concerning marriage, luck, health, and death. It was the only day on which the help of the devil was invoked for such purposes." End quote. Now, in the weeks to come, we're going to look at why ghosts and witches, black cats, Ouija boards, and various other forms of divination all are associated with Halloween. And as you will learn as we go along, these practices all go back to the occult and spiritistic pagan religious practices of the past. In fact, I'd like you to listen as Dr. Weldon explains why Halloween night was considered in ancient history to be the very best day in the entire year for contacting the spirit world.
In fact, Halloween back then was thought to be the very best time for contacting the spirit world because the veil that separated the material and spiritual worlds was thinnest at that time, and this in fact is something that is believed in witchcraft today, and that is why they celebrate October 31st as one of their most special days.